Benjamin Anzelwitz, known professionally as Ben Burney, was an American jazz violinist, bandleader, and radio personality, often introduced as the Old Maestro. He was noted for his showmanship and memorable bits of snappy dialogue, being part of the first generation of stars of American popular music, alongside other artists such as Paul Whiteman, Lewis and Al Jolson. Career early years. Burney was born Bernard Anzelevitz in Bayonne, New Jersey. He attended Columbia University and the New York College of Music. By the age of 15 he was teaching violin, but this experience apparently diminished his interest in the violin for a time. Burney performed in vaudeville, appearing with Charles Klass as the Fiddle Up Boys in 1912 and with Phil Baker as Baker and Burney, but he met with little success until 1922 when he joined his first orchestra. Later, he had his own band, The Lads, seen in the early DeForest Phonofilm sound short, Ben Burney and All the Lads, featuring pianist Oscar Levant. He toured with Maurice Chevalier and in Europe. Radio and other performances. Burney and his orchestra were heard November 15, 1926, via a remote broadcast from the Hotel Roosevelt in New York City, on the first NBC broadcast. In 1928, he starred in the Broadway musical, Here's How, as Dan Danny. His musical variety radio shows through the 1930s, usually titled, Ben Burney, The Old Maestro, received ratings that placed him among radio's top 10 programs. He was heard on radio as early as 1923, broadcasting on WJZ and the NBC Blue Network in 1930–31, sponsored by Menon. After a 1931–32 run on CBS, sponsored by Blue Ribbon Malt, which was acquired by Pabst Beer, he was heard Tuesdays on NBC from 1932 to 1935, also with Pabst. His announcer during this period was Jimmy Wallington. On the Blue Network from 1935 to 1937, Burney's sponsor was the American Can Company. He returned to CBS in 1938, sponsored by U.S. Rubber. With Half and Half Tobacco as a sponsor, he hosted a musical quiz program from 1938 to 1940. From 1940–41, Bromo Seltzer was his sponsor on the Blue Network. Wrigley's Gum sponsored the Ben Burney War Workers program. He also made guest appearances on other radio shows. He appeared in 4 feature films: Shoot the Works, Stolen Harmony, Wake Up and Live, and Love and Hisses. His theme was, It's a Lonesome Old Town, and his signature trademark, Yowza, 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 became a national catchphrase. The term was memorably used by a character in the film They Shoot Horses, Don't They? Richie Cunningham in a 1976 episode of Happy Days, They Shoot Fonzies, Don't They? By the band Chic with their hit, Dance, 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 Frank Zappa in his 1979 single, Dancin' Fool, and Rich Brinkley as Cappy in 1994's comedy, Cabin Boy. Announcers for Burney's programs included Harlow Wilcox, Harry Von Zell and Bob Brown. His radio shows featured comedy from Lou Lair and Fuzzy Knight, and the lineup of vocalists included Buddy Clark, Little Jackie Heller, Scrappy Lambert, Pat Kennedy, Jane Pickens, Dinah Shore, and Mary Small. To boost ratings, Walter Winchell and Burney, who were good friends, staged a fake rivalry similar to the comedic conflict between Jack Benny and Fred Allen. This mutually beneficial feud was a running gag on their radio appearances and continued in 2 films in which they portrayed themselves, Wake Up and Live and Love and Hisses. They are also caricatured in the Warner Brothers cartoons The Woods Are Full of Cuckoos as Ben Birdie, and Walter Finchel, and The Cuckoo Nut Grove as Ben Birdie, and Walter Windpipe. Recordings. Burney's orchestra recorded throughout the 1920s and 1930s on Vocalion, Brunswick, Columbia, Decca, and Arc. In 1923 Burney and the Hotel Roosevelt Orchestra recorded, Who's Sorry Now? In 1925 Ben Burney and his orchestra recorded, Sweet Georgia Brown. Burney was the co-composer of this jazz standard, which became the theme song of the Harlem Globetrotters. Personal life. On December 24, 1915, Burney married Rose Harris in Manhattan, New York. They had a son, Jason H. Burney. Ben and Rose Burney separated in September 1931 and divorced September 1935. In October 1935, Ben Burney remarried Dorothy P. Wesley in Miami, Florida. Burney died from a pulmonary embolism in October 1943, aged 52, and was buried in Mount Hebron Cemetery in Queens, New York. Bernie has a star at 6280 Hollywood Boulevard in the radio section of the Hollywood Walk of Fame. It was dedicated February 8, 1960.